growing up a basketball fan, you know, meeting legends is always something I never take for granted. And, you know, I've met you a couple of times before, always at these events. We're at the All Star week here at Los Angeles, and you're being pulled in every which direction. George the Iceman Gervin, I am so proud to be sitting next to you right now and having a little bit of time to just dig into your head and find out, you know, what's that DNA that brings you to that legendary status. But George Gervin, thanks for hanging with me.
Thank you, man. Good to be here. I'm glad to be here. I've been to so many All-Star games, man, over the years, and I enjoy each and every one of them.
Yep.
You know, being here in L.A., it's been a while since we've been in L.A.
Yep.
You know, and I get a chance to hang out with my man Mintz, Dave Mintz, and stuff. So, you know, it's fun. It's fun to come to the event, man. I mean, it's an honor, and I hope it's an honor for these guys to get picked to be, you know, chosen to play. And
you know, you obviously rank right up in the top of you know, the greatest players ever to play the game, and you know, you started out, obviously, success in high school, success in college, and then going on to play in the ABA, going into the NBA. What was that transition like? You know, George, I got to tell you, my memory of the ABA is pretty limited. I know I look a lot older than I am, but I'm relegated to semi-pro with Will Ferrell and the Tropic Thunder. Love me sexy.
Hey, you know,
Is that like it?
I was in that movie.
Were you?
I had a little snippet in that movie and stuff, man. So
oh my goodness!
Guys, for a minute.
It looked like a lot of fun. The ABA looked like it was fun. I mean, you know, but tell me about that.
You know, for me, it made me. I mean, it gave me a shot to become a pro early.
Right. Yep.
You know, I left school on some, you know, not real good circumstances. Yep. You know, I got in a fight and, you know, they kicked me off the team, and I could have stayed in school, but I really went to school to play basketball, so I withdrew from school and, you know, and I joined the semi-pros.
Yeah.
You know, and I played on a team in Pontiac, Michigan, Roy White's team, and, you know, I was averaging 38 points.
Yep.
You know, and Johnny Red Kerr saw me. So Johnny Red Kerr, who was a scout for the Chicago Bulls at that time, and knew Earl Foreman, who was the owner of the Virginia Squires, he called Earl and said, "You see this kid?" Earl flew me up. You know, I mean, me and Willie Merriweather, who was my high school coach at that time, and he said, "Y'all won't believe this, man, but I got my contract by shooting around."
Okay.
I made 25 out of 33s, and he signed me on the spot.
Right. Yep.
Fortunately for me, Dr. J was on that team. You know, Julius Erving with the Virginia Squires, and, you know, and Doc became my mentor. So
okay.
Playing that ABA for me, man, was the beginning of, you know, George Gervin's career.
So I'll ask you this, because, you know, somebody as, you know, good as you have been in your career, did you feel that you were the best on the court most of the time? And if not, who were those players? I mean, Dr. J you looked up to and you played with him. Did you have that sort of swagger when you played, that you felt like you were the best on the court? Is that what separates the average from the greats?
You know, I never felt that. I mean, you know, I felt I was on the floor, and I felt how I was playing, it proved to be the best.
But you knew at any time you could work somebody out there.
I knew any time I could put the ball in the basket.
Yeah, right.
You know, I mean, so to have that, you know, confidence to being the best, I didn't care who was on the floor.
Right, I gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I mean, you know, I knew I was going to do the best that I could do, and most of the time I was the best on the floor.
I just had this conversation with somebody completely unrelated to them even knowing that I was going to be coming and talking to you, but they said they remembered watching, and I looked it up on YouTube, you played horse against Pistol Pete Maravich, and that's got to be, that's one of the old school sort of promotional stunt things, right?
I'm still mad Pete beat me.
Oh, he did? Well, you know.
I'm still mad. But, hey, no. You know, I'm mad in the sense because I had him down.
Right.
You know, if you know anything about horse, and most people do.
Yeah.
You know, Pete was a trick shot artist.
Right. Yep.
You know, and once he got into his bag, it was, you know, he do stuff people couldn't do.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, so, you know, I got him to where it was HORS on him. And me, knowing that Pete wasn't really a good bank shot shooter.
Right, right.
You know, in horse, the whole key is to keep the lead.
Yeah, right.
That means keep him have to do what you do.
Keep him on his hoofs.
Man, I went in the corner to shoot a corner jump shot and missed, and Pete did like this. Ice.
Hey, I beat an NBA player in a horse, a good friend of mine, and I hang it over his head, and it was in my driveway, and I beat him on a shot off my shed. It bounced and it went in, and I said, that's the game, my man. And you know, he was a Hall of Famer for Boston College, and he played overseas and everything, and that was my thing. That was my shot, and he wasn't expecting it.
Anybody can win in horse.
Yes,
if they take the lead.
Right.
So Pete ended up getting on the floor and spinning one off the glass, and I couldn't do it, and he won it. So he ended up winning the horse contest. It was me and him in the final. I never forgot it. I mean, Pete was special. You know, when I got my first scoring title in New Orleans, Pete was playing with the New Orleans team.
Yep.
And I needed 59 to get the scoring title because David Thompson earlier got 73, and I was leading the league in scoring. You know, all the way up to the last game, and David took it by a few percentage points, so they calculated it, and I needed 59. Pete was on the sideline. I'll never forget it. Pete was on the sideline rooting me on. Come on, Ice. Come on, Ice.
Yep.
You get a guy like Pete Maravich, man, rooting you on, man.
Right.
I ended up getting 63 points in 33 minutes and winning my first scoring title. So I have a fond memory of him. You know, as a basketball player and as a human being. You know, obviously I miss him because I think he's one of the greatest basketball players that ever played. Mm-hmm. You know, but when you talk about that horse, you know, we could talk about the horse, and he did beat me, and I didn't like to lose, but I didn't mind losing to Pete Maravich.
Well, you know, I mean, it was amazing, and I just saw that, and I had to bring it up, and then, and here's it. I'm going to go back. I'm going back in my treasure chest of memories. You were the reason I wanted to have a nickname. And I had the poster. Okay. You know, I had the poster. How did you get? First of all, if you could pick a nickname, Ice, to get that, where did that come from?
Fatty Taylor gave me that name, man. I'm from Detroit. You know.
That's a nice name.
You know, man. If you go back to Detroit, you know, you get a guy named Iceberg Slim.
Okay. Yeah.
Iceberg Slim was a pimp.
Yep.
I ain't that pimpish about me.
Right.
You know,
I got it. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? I didn't like that.
Yeah.
So why Fatty started calling me Iceberg,
now,
you know.
I won't ask how he got his name, Fatty, right? But like, right? Okay, because I like ice. I don't want to be called Fatty. Here comes Fatty. No, that's not, you know.
He was legendary.
Yeah, okay.
Fatty was legendary, but Fatty is the guy that gave me the name Ice. I mean, you know, I was 175 pounds. I didn't sweat much, and then my style, I dressed real well, you know, suits and shoes, gator shoes, and that's when he started calling me Iceberg Slim, and then he finally broke it down and started calling me Ice. That's how I really got my nickname. And
then when did you ever get it on your license?
I ain't got it yet.
No?
Because I don't want everybody following me home.
Yeah, right. No kidding. All right, so you go NBA, you know, talk about San Antonio becomes your home, right? You're down there now. What was it about San Antonio that you said, you know, I'm going to stay here? Because you're not from there.
I'm from Detroit.
From Detroit. But San Antonio is your home and kind of what you're known for.
You know, I mean, I married my wife there. I had my children there, you know. So I've been there now 42 years.
Yep.
You know, I'm married 41. I mean, everybody know me. You know, I mean, that's where I did my work. That's where my job pretty much was, you know, in San Antonio. And I still worked for the front office with the Spurs. You know, I do a lot of community service stuff. I created my own program from being in the community service with the San Antonio Spurs. So now I got a charter school called the George Gervin Academy. I have a youth center. I have, you know, I build retirement homes for senior citizens and low-income people. So I'm just a part of that fabric. You know, the people love me. I love them. You know, we have a great love relationship. I mean, so it's a special place to be for me. You know, I live on 30 acres out there, you know, so I got a nice little spot. You know, I got a nice little homestead.
Are you a cowboy now?
You know, I don't have cows and all that.
No horsing?
I got a lot of guns.
Okay, you got horse? You got a horse?
No horse. I got a driving range. You know, I got all the things that I enjoy doing.
Yep.
You know, I mean, and
so in San Antonio, 3 people walk into a restaurant: you, the Iceman, the Admiral, and then Mr. St. Croix, Tim Duncan. Who gets the free meal first? Who do people start bringing over the free appetizers and drinks for first?
If they old, it's me.
Yeah.
If they're young, it's Timmy.
Yep.
If they're in between, it's David.
That's a big three right there. I like that.
Hey man, I mean, but three of the greatest. I mean,
how would you think going back and you three playing at the same time? How would that have? That would have been.
If I had a Tim Duncan or a David Robinson on my team, I mean, it would have been special.
Can you imagine me?
I had a good team, with Artis Gilmore, Mike Mitchell.
Yep.
We had a chance to win it all.
Yeah.
It just didn't happen.
Right.
Because we were playing against some guys like Magic Johnson and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Who are they? Hall
of Famers. Woo! I mean, but they were special. Yeah. They were special men. I mean, so, I never criticized the guys that I played with. There's some guys that I wish I'd have played with, or had the chance to play with. But the guys that I did play with, I was proud to play with them. They were warriors, and we went to fight, man, and, I knew they always had my back.
So now you're in San Antonio, and this question comes straight from the Nilosek household and my wife and my kids, who are all. My wife teaches in a charter school. My kids go to charter schools. Charter schools are one of those things that and I don't understand why there's a sort of a this side or a that side, but you have you're heavily involved in education down in San Antonio. But what got you into that? Like what was the moment that you kind of said this is a meaningful passion for me, and I'm gonna, because that's a great part of your retirement and where your life is now, and that's a very meaningful, that leaves a lasting impression on those kids and families in that city.
You change lives. I mean, I was born, like I said, I was raised by a single parent, my mom, and my mom kept us in program. So I'm a product, of programs, so I know they work. So that was my reason why I created the youth center. And from the youth center, we grew into a charter school, so that's the passion I have, for young people. I know there's a lot of kids out there, man, want to play sports, or entertain, and, and they put all their eggs in one basket. So I knew, for me, I wanted to create an educational environment for them to have an understanding that education should be your #1 priority. I don't care what you do. You should have that 1 to 12 foundation under you. Because if you do, it gives you a better chance of success. And that's why I started my school. Like I said, it's been 21 years. I done graduated thousands of kids from my school. And when I get a parent or grandmama or a kid come to me and say, Mr. Gervin, I graduated from your academy, ain't no feeling greater to me than that in the world. Because now I know I done had a positive impact on somebody's life.
That's like a championship ring every day,
Every day, man. So ain't nothing greater than that. So these rings and success I had on basketball floor is secondary when you change a kid's life.
So sports, obviously, you just mentioned, going through K through 12 and the importance of that. And, now we have this whole, movement in sports where everybody's a winner and everybody gets trophies and that kind of thing. And from somebody who had to overcome obstacles, and sports being a great analogy for having to figure out how to, how to deal with adversity, deal with losing, deal with, you're having your ego stepped on. All of those things, I think, build character that, that could we be depriving our kids these days of, you got your ass kicked today, and, you got to get back up tomorrow and do better, or get back, just get back to things. Because
I don't like that everybody win,
because that's not life. Yeah, amen. Yeah,
losing is sometimes winning, because you learn from losing how to win.
But George, if you don't lose, how are you supposed to enjoy a win or a victory unless you know what it's like to have to put the work in and know what it's like to fall on your face?
It ain't fair to kids for programs to be that way.
Right.
It's you being an enabler.
Yeah.
And being an enabler and stuff can harm a person.
Yeah.
We gotta treat our kids, man, like life is.
Yep.
We got to prepare them like life's going to be. And the older you get, the harder it's going to get if you don't have an understanding and a foundation of what it takes to become an adult. Values, morals, and principles, to me, is the ingredients of a human being. If you have that, I think you got a good chance to have some success in your life, man.
So,
to me.
So the teachers and the mentors and the coaches, well, the ones at your schools, what are the most important criteria to be an employee at those schools? Like, what do you want them to bring to the table for those kids? Passion
to teach. You got to have it because it's too hard.
Yeah.
I mean,
be interested in it.
Else.
Yeah.
You're dealing with somebody else's baby, and then you got to go home and deal with your own.
Right.
You got to have a passion to be a teacher.
Right.
And that's why it's a revolving door. Because you get some in there to come and get the check.
Yep.
They ain't staying long.
Right.
You gotta have that. You gotta have that teacher come in there and say, "I'm gonna make a difference."
Right.
So if I'm gonna make a difference, I'm gonna do whatever I can to move this kid along the right way, educational way, and get to know him, show him that you care, get to know what you got as a human being.
Right.
They don't get paid enough to me.
Yeah.
To me, teachers are a part of our fabric, man, that we don't give enough attention.
Well, George Gervin, this was obviously a bucket list item for me. Just somebody that's played on the same court with Jackie Moon and the Tropic Thunder. I got to tell you, that to me, love me sexy. That was
out here too.
Do you have some of those pictures that you must have had?
I got pictures of it.
But you must have had some nice clothes back in the day. Ice, you came in,
I'm telling you, I was sharp as a tack.
Yeah, I remember.
Gators.
Wow.
All the time.
Yep.
Lizards. See, but people don't know, if you wear gators or lizards long enough, they start biting you back.
George Gervin, enjoy, please, your time here in Los Angeles, and it was my pleasure to talk with you. And we're going to put all of George's information on his charter schools and all his organizations up online, and hopefully your passion, your interest, everything that you do grows and spreads across the country, because we need it. We need it. George Gervin.
Thank you. Oh, that was nice.
That was fun. You were great.
That was good.
That was